In a society driven by noise, where constant communication is not just encouraged but expected, choosing silence can be a radical act of strength. The world often demands quick responses, relentless explanations, and continuous justifications, pushing individuals to constantly assert their stance or defend their choices. But amidst this chaos, there exists a rare power in restraint, the ability to remain still, to think deeply before speaking, or to not speak at all. This isn't about withholding thoughts out of fear or insecurity. It's about recognizing that not every opinion warrants a reply, not every argument deserves your energy, and not every misunderstanding requires your intervention. True power lies in composure, in observing rather than reacting, and in moving through life with a quiet confidence that is unshaken by the need for applause or approval. This philosophy is perhaps best embodied by the figure known as a Sigma male, a man who stands outside traditional social hierarchies, uninterested in dominance games or status contests. The Sigma male doesn't chase validation or attention. Instead, he operates on his own terms, guided by internal principles rather than external pressures. He has no desire to prove himself to others, nor does he feel the need to conform to expectations that don't align with his inner truth. His presence is not loud, but it is unmistakably firm. He is grounded, intentional, and fiercely self-aware. For those who have ever felt a growing disinterest in explaining themselves, a preference for solitude over superficial conversation, or a desire to disengage from pointless confrontation, this path may feel familiar. It's not born from indifference, but from a place of profound clarity. It's the understanding that preserving inner peace is often more valuable than engaging in the noise of validation-seeking behavior. This mindset doesn't make a person cold. It makes them clear. It doesn't foster arrogance. It cultivates independence. In the following deep dive, we'll unravel the 12 defining traits of the Sigma male mindset, each one a powerful principle that shapes how these individuals think, act, and interact with the world. Through this lens, we'll see how silence is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom, how detachment is not driven by bitterness but by balance, and how self-mastery, above all else, is the purest form of freedom a man can attain. 1. You don't argue to win. You let people drown in their own delusions. There comes a point in a man's psychological evolution where the need to be understood fades, and the desire to convince others of anything dissolves. For the Sigma male, this transition happens when he realizes the futility of engaging in arguments with those who are not seeking truth, but validation of their own bias. He understands that most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply, to defend, or to assert dominance. So instead of wasting precious energy trying to correct every misconception or defend every attack on his character, he chooses silence. Silence, to him, isn't a retreat. It's a strategy. When someone distorts his words, misinterprets his actions, or spins a narrative that benefits their ego, he doesn't feel the urge to correct them. He knows that some minds are not open. They're armored by delusion. And trying to insert truth into a closed mind is like pouring water into a sealed jar. Nothing gets in. By choosing not to engage, the Sigma male removes the oxygen that fuels a fire of pointless debate. He doesn't argue for ego. He doesn't fight to be right. Instead, he allows people to stew in their assumptions, knowing that their version of reality doesn't define his. His power lies in the quiet self-certainty that doesn't seek permission to exist. He walks forward unaffected, while others exhaust themselves trying to prove a point. Key takeaway: let them talk, let them assume, let them drown in their own version of reality, while you keep walking forward. 2. You've mastered the art of disappointing expectations without guilt. From an early age, society hands us a script: how to behave, what goals to chase, and who we're supposed to become. It demands conformity and praises predictability. But the Sigma male, by nature, refuses to follow these pre-written roles. He begins to realize that the pursuit of approval is a trap, one that chains a man to a life of quiet desperation. So he breaks free. He stops apologizing for not living up to others' standards. He embraces the discomfort of disappointing expectations because his loyalty lies with his own truth, not with social performance. People often recoil when someone steps out of their assigned role. When a Sigma male stops pretending to be what others want him to be, they may respond with dismay. You've changed, they say. But what they truly mean is, You're no longer convenient for me. That's the consequence of authenticity. It rattles those who benefited from your compliance. Yet the Sigma male doesn't carry guilt for walking away from expectations. He understands that peace comes with price, disappointing those who thought they had the right to shape his destiny. The alternative, living a life curated by other people's opinions, is simply not acceptable to him. To remain true to himself, he is willing to let go of relationships, social approval, and even opportunities that demand self-betrayal. 3. You see attention as a liability, not currency. In a culture that thrives on visibility, where worth is often measured by the number of likes, followers, and public accolades, the Sigma male takes a radically different stance. For him, attention is not a currency, it's a liability. While a majority of people chase the spotlight in hopes of validation, recognition, and approval, the Sigma male is acutely aware of the price that comes with being constantly watched. The more visible you are, the more exposed you become to assumptions, criticisms, and social expectations. Attention invites noise, opinions, demands, and projections that can distort authenticity. Unlike those who meticulously curate their lives for social media, crafting images and narratives for public consumption, the Sigma male doesn't perform. He doesn't need an audience to affirm his progress or celebrate his milestones. His actions are deliberate but quiet. His success is real but unadvertised. While others are busy marketing their worth, he is building behind the scenes. Operating from the shadows is not a sign of weakness. It is a mark of strategic self-possession. The Sigma male understands that true power doesn't require an announcement. His impact is felt, not flaunted. His value is steady, not showy. He opts for internal fulfillment over external applause, knowing that the peace of living without performance is far more satisfying than temporary recognition. Key takeaway: attention is cheap, peace is priceless. 4. You're willing to be the villain in someone's story to remain the hero in your own. Living authentically often comes at the cost of being misunderstood, and the Sigma male is no stranger to that reality. He knows that not everyone will appreciate the truth of who he is, especially when that truth disrupts their expectations. As he evolves, sets firmer boundaries, and walks away from relationships or situations that no longer serve his growth, he is often cast as the villain in others' narratives. But he doesn't flinch at this label, because he understands something deeper. Remaining true to himself is far more important than being liked by those who only supported a diluted version of him. To the people who once benefited from his compliance, his assertiveness looks like selfishness. To those who relied on his silence, his voice sounds like rebellion. Setting boundaries may be perceived as arrogance. Choosing solitude may be labeled as aloofness. But the Sigma male doesn't internalize these misinterpretations. He knows that when people can't control you, they try to define you, and often unfairly. Still, he doesn't chase understanding. He doesn't beg to be seen in the right light. If being the villain in someone's story is the price he must pay to be the hero in his own, he accepts it without guilt. Growth, to him, is worth the loss of conditional relationships. He would rather walk alone in his truth than be celebrated for a version of himself that no longer exists. 5. You don't care to be followed because you're not leading anyone but yourself. In a world that glorifies leadership, status, and influence, the Sigma male takes a completely different route. While many chase leadership roles to gain followers, admiration, and power over others, the Sigma male rejects this performative notion of influence. He isn't interested in being seen as a leader. He doesn't crave a crowd applause or a stage to project his voice. His journey is not a campaign. It's a solitary pilgrimage towards self-mastery. For the Sigma male, leadership is not about controlling others or inspiring masses. It is about aligning his life with his own principles, walking a path that is true, even if no one is watching, even if no one understands. His decisions aren't made with the intention of being admired. He doesn't craft a persona for the sake of admiration or aspiration. Instead, he quietly embodies the values he believes in, not to model them for others, but to remain at peace with himself. This detachment from being followed gives him immense freedom. While others may depend on their following to feel significant, the Sigma male draws strength from solitude. He doesn't lead out of ego. He moves forward with purpose. And if someone is inspired by his authenticity, that's incidental. Influence may come as a byproduct, but it's never the goal. Key takeaway: you're not here to be followed. You're here to walk your own path, even if it means walking alone. 6. You have zero interest in competing where the prize is attention. The modern world thrives on superficial competition. Who's louder, trendier, more liked, more followed? Social media platforms have turned attention into a form of currency, fueling endless contests over relevance. But to the Sigma male, this kind of competition is not just unappealing, it's meaningless. He sees no value in engaging in battles where the reward is fleeting visibility or hollow validation. The Sigma male isn't interested in gaining followers or winning popularity contests. He doesn't perform to stand out, nor does he involve himself in ego-driven debates designed to prove superiority. In fact, the more noise there is, the less interested he becomes. His self-worth isn't tied to how many people know his name, how many compliments he receives, or how many times his content is shared. His success is measured in internal milestones, peace of mind, personal growth, purpose-driven action. Where others exhaust themselves trying to outdo one another for a moment in the spotlight, the Sigma male steps back. He engages selectively, preserving his energy for pursuits that align with his mission, not his image. He would rather remain unknown and authentic than famous and hollow. In his eyes, if the ultimate prize is just attention, then the real win is refusing to compete at all. Key takeaway: if the prize is attention, you've already won by not playing the game. 7. You don't flinch when someone pulls away. You barely notice they were there. In a world where emotional attachment is often equated with self-worth, the Sigma male stands apart. His approach to relationships is grounded in emotional clarity, not dependency. He doesn't cling to people out of fear of being alone. If someone chooses to distance themselves, the Sigma male doesn't chase after them, demand explanations, or spiral into self-doubt. His sense of identity is not defined by who comes and goes from his life. This isn't coldness, it's clean love. When he cares, he does so without strings, without manipulation, and without games. He gives freely, but he never begs. And when the time comes to let go, he does so with grace, not resistance. While others may panic at the first signs of detachment, sending double texts, second-guessing themselves, or bargaining for closeness, the Sigma male remains grounded. He understands that not all connections are meant to be permanent. Some people are seasonal, and their exit isn't a loss. It's simply a shift. What gives him this quiet strength is his deep-rooted non-attachment. It's not that he doesn't care, but that he doesn't need. His emotional stability comes from within, not from the presence or approval of others. He knows that real peace isn't found in keeping people. It's in the ability to stay whole whether they stay or leave. Key takeaway: if they let go, you let go faster. Peace isn't found in keeping people. It's found in not needing to. 8. You only reveal 10% of what you know, because being underestimated is a weapon. In a culture that glorifies self-promotion, where people often rush to display their intelligence, skills, or status, the Sigma male takes a dramatically different approach. He doesn't broadcast his abilities or dominate conversations to prove his worth. Instead, he practices the art of strategic reserve, choosing silence over self-importance, observation over opinion. To the untrained eye, this may appear as passivity, but in truth, it's precision. The Sigma male knows that when people underestimate you, they expose themselves. They relax their guard, reveal their intentions, and show their hand. Meanwhile, he listens, learns, and stores information. He watches how others operate, where they're strong, where they're weak, what motivates them, and what blinds them. This quiet awareness gives him an edge not through confrontation, but through calculation. When he finally speaks or acts, it's not random, it's decisive. His words carry weight because they're rare, and his actions are impactful because they've been timed. While others exhaust their energy trying to impress the room, the Sigma male sits in stillness, knowing that real power doesn't need an audience, it just needs opportunity. By revealing only a fraction of what he knows, he preserves his greatest advantage, the element of surprise. Key takeaway: let them underestimate you. The less they see, the more freedom you have to move. 9. You're unbothered by rejection because you've already accepted yourself fully. There was a time when rejection felt like a personal failure, a sting that lingered, questioning self-worth and identity. But for the Sigma male, that time has passed. He no longer measures his value based on who accepts him, who stays, or who validates his presence. His journey has led him inward, where he discovered that the only approval that truly matters is his own. This inner acceptance creates a shield, one that makes external rejections irrelevant rather than painful. He doesn't wait for anyone's permission to speak, to exist, or to matter. He has no desire to convince others of his worth, nor does he plead to be understood. Those who cannot see his value are not enemies. They are simply not aligned. The Sigma male knows that not everyone is meant to understand him, and he embraces this truth with calm detachment. His self-esteem isn't conditional. It's rooted deep and unwavering. Once full self-acceptance is achieved, the fear of rejection dissolves. He is not looking to be chosen because he has already chosen himself. His peace comes not from fitting in, but from standing in his truth, even if it means standing alone. Key takeaway: you're not for everyone, and that's the point. 10. You don't engage in pointless debates because your energy is sacred. In a society addicted to being right, where people argue more to defend their ego than to seek truth, the Sigma male exercises a different kind of intelligence. He disengages. He recognizes a pattern early: circular conversations, escalating tones, the emotional tug-of-war where logic is quickly replaced by pride. These aren't discussions, they're traps, and he has no interest in playing. To the Sigma male, energy is currency. Mental clarity, emotional balance, and inner peace are worth more than winning an argument. That's why he refuses to waste his time debating with people who aren't open to genuine dialogue. He doesn't try to out-talk them, outwit them, or prove anything. He simply bows out with silence, with composure, with dignity. His discipline is found in his restraint. Not every statement demands a reply. Not every opinion deserves a counterpoint. The Sigma male knows that presence is power, and preserving that presence requires boundaries. By refusing to engage in meaningless conflict, he maintains the sanctity of his energy and the serenity of his mind. Key takeaway: your energy isn't free. Spend it only where it matters. 11. You cut ties without needing a dramatic betrayal. Disrespect is enough. Many people cling to relationships far longer than they should, waiting for an undeniable betrayal, a dramatic fallout, or a clear final straw before walking away. But the Sigma male doesn't need theatrics to make a decision. His boundaries are firm and his instincts are sharp. He's attuned to subtle shifts, those quiet signals that others often ignore. A drop in respect, a change in tone, a dismissive glance. These are not trivial to him. They're signs. He doesn't require chaos to justify his exit. A single moment of disregard, even if unspoken, is enough because he knows his value, and he refuses to stay in spaces where he's merely tolerated, while others make excuses for disrespect, hoping things will go back to how they were. The Sigma male trusts what he sees the first time. He doesn't confront with drama. He simply withdraws with calm, with confidence, and with no need to explain himself. This ability to walk away early isn't coldness. It's self-respect. He doesn't burn bridges in anger. He simply stops crossing them when the structure no longer supports his peace. Key takeaway: you don't need chaos to leave, just a quiet recognition that something no longer serves you. 12. You show love in quiet, inconvenient ways, and if it's not seen, you're still fine. In a world that celebrates grand gestures, public displays, and performative affection, the Sigma male chooses something far more meaningful. Love expressed through consistency, subtlety, and selflessness. His way of caring isn't loud, it's deeply rooted. He doesn't show love for applause or validation, or to be perceived a certain way. He shows love because it's real. He remembers the small things others overlook. He checks in without needing a reason. He supports behind the scenes, protecting, providing, and being present without the need for recognition. And if his efforts go unnoticed, he doesn't fall into resentment. He simply adapts. His love isn't a tool for control or manipulation. It's a gift freely given, with no strings attached. This quiet loyalty is one of his greatest strengths. He doesn't need to be seen to keep giving. His love is deliberate, quiet, and enduring, and that's what makes it rare. Key takeaway: real love doesn't need a spotlight, it just is. Final words: the Sigma male's edge. There's a common misconception that the Sigma male is cold, disconnected, or indifferent, but in truth, he's simply clear. Clear about his values, clear about his purpose, clear about who he is and who he isn't. He doesn't move for attention. He doesn't speak to be heard. He doesn't seek to impress. He moves for truth, for freedom, and for peace of mind. He's not interested in explaining himself to those determined to misunderstand him. He won't waste his energy competing for hollow rewards. And he absolutely will not stay in any place, be a relationship, a career, or a conversation, where his presence isn't respected. This isn't bitterness. This is emotional discipline. It's mastery over the need to be liked, understood, or approved. Final takeaway. When you know who you are, silence becomes your loudest answer. Conclusion. The unshakable mindset. The Sigma male strength doesn't come from dominance, charm, or noise. It comes from within. His mindset is built on solitude, self-reliance, and an unwavering commitment to truth over popularity. He isn't here to entertain the masses. He's here to walk his own path, no matter how lonely or misunderstood it may be. In a world addicted to distraction, validation, and chaos, his clarity becomes his weapon. He doesn't follow trends. He doesn't react to pressure. He doesn't seek to fit in, because he was never built for the crowd in the first place. His presence is quiet, but unshakable. His loyalty is deep, but unbroadcasted. And his identity is solid, because it's not constructed by others. It's discovered within. If you resonate with this, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're built differently. And in a world full of noise, that difference is not a weakness. It's your greatest advantage. Stay true. Stay solid. Keep moving. Do you resonate with the ideas I shared in this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in more content about Sigma males, explore the other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching.